This is a video for the Barney Rubble Syndicate. Well, guys, we finally got Barney Rubble out to a competition. He's had a bit of a break since his big 4-star long run at Tryon. He was scheduled to do an event up in Millbrook a couple of weeks ago and do a show jumping show, but we unfortunately had an abscess in his front right foot, which has been a nightmare to deal with. We had some glue-on shoes on Barney for his big competition at Tryon, and unfortunately he had a little infection that crept under the outer wall of his foot, and it grew, and then when it exploded, we sadly had to sort of cut off some of his hoof wall. So as you see him trotting along there, you'll see a bit of white on his right front foot. Now, the only problem with that is Barney's sort of been on a limited amount of work. He hasn't been able to go to the turnout, and we've sort of been really, really cautious and careful with Barney's work. And obviously we've got to get going pretty soon with him, just because we're aiming for the Morven Park 4 long. And we got Barney out to the... I just put him in the prelim at Fair Hill because I knew he'd be wild, and... He was a disaster. You're actually seeing the good parts of his dressage. The warm-up, Barney was breathing fire in the warm-up of the dressage. It was actually quite embarrassing. He was going a little bit sideways and up and down, and Barney was just full of enthusiasm. He's excited to be out. And usually I try and, with all the other horses, I take them to a show jumping show, which sort of gets them off the farm and gets them a bit acclimatized to a new atmosphere. But Barney missed all of that through his lay-up with his sore foot. Anyway, we've got him back in action now, and my goal was just to give him a nice, quiet run. I was suspicious that he was going to be a bit wild and silly. It actually doesn't look so bad when I'm talking you through it here, but... I can honestly say he was breathing fire the whole test. So our score, I don't even want to know what the score was. If it was anything less than 40, it was a very generous dressage judge. He was very tight and tense. And this is Barney. We bought ourselves a high-energy, high-octane Ferrari. And he's definitely not a quiet old schoolmaster. He's not an amateur ride. He's a big-time 5-star horse, which takes a lot of preparation to get a good competition. And like I said before, the last couple of weeks, we've sort of just been tippy-toeing around and not putting him out in the field, and trying to be very, very cautious to make sure this problem that we've had in his hoof disappears. We're not out of the woods yet. Unfortunately, they've had to remove some of his hoof wall. They think it's going to grow out eventually, but it's going to take some time. So, like I said before, our big goal is to aim him for the Morven Park 4-star long. That's in October. Before then and now, my next goal will be Kentucky Horse Trials down at Lexington, Kentucky on August 28th. He'll go into the advanced, and I'm going to have to put some work into Barney and settle him down, and by now I think now that if we get through this weekend okay, we'll start putting the gallops into him every 4 or 5 days, and that usually calms him right down. He's a eternally fit horse, and when an eternally fit horse gets locked up and doesn't do much exercise, he's like my kids when they're full of sugar. So anyway, I'm glad it was a small course. The prelim was pathetically easy for him. Saying that, I was actually half pleased how he show jumped. He sort of scooted off on a few jumps, but generally speaking, he actually was quite nice to ride him around a nice, easy round. He just popped around the prelim show jumping course quite nice. So anyway, we've got the advanced horse trial there at Kentucky Horse Park at the end of this month, and then beyond that, I think we'll aim him for the I believe the Plantation 4-star short. That'll be a big, juicy track, which will set him up nicely for the Morven Park 4-star long. I think the Morven Park 4-star long is going to be a huge event, actually. They've got a big bag of prize money available. It's going to be a huge competition, so that's going to be our big goal. Obviously, I'm still irritated by our 4-star long performance at Tryon in May. He had a fantastic go of it, except we had one mishap at the corner in water. So he would have learned a lot from Tryon, though, and I think he'd be a fair bit sort of more seasoned and experienced by the time we do the 4-star long at Morven. Now, what you didn't see there at the beginning of the cross-country is the 20 seconds it took me to get him into the start box. They were counting down from 10 to 0, and then Barney decided that he wanted to head back to the warm-up. So we're about 20 seconds starting too late. Other than that, he actually gave me a real good round across country. I put a slightly sharper bit on his mouth. The ground was hard, so I didn't want to push him hard. I was sort of relieved that I wimped out and put him in the prelim, just because the jumps are small and the ground was hard, and obviously with this sort of irritated foot, I'm very, very nervous that he's going to jar his feet up again. So I went very, very cautiously around. I think you'll see on the time penalties on the scoreboard was horrendous, but a good bulk of those time penalties was Barney and I disagreeing of whether or not to go into the start box. He's a great horse. He's quirky. He's difficult, but he is a jumper, and he's a machine once he settles in. I really think doing this competition is going to make him better for the Kentucky horse trials in a month's time, or the end of this month. I'm going to try and take him to a show jumping show at Princeton as well to see if I can get him a little bit more settled down. Anyway, guys, not a great performance, but I'm glad we got him out and about, and hopefully this bruised foot thing's behind us and we can start rolling our sleeves up and getting ready for battle at the Morven Park in October.